Okay, Record's video on Sunday, the 15th of December 2024. Just gone 3:55 a.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So it's the weekend, time for another weekend futures market recap. We'll go through 15 of the largest futures markets and I show you what I'm seeing on my charts. Boy, I got to tell you, this is going to be an important video because we are down in 13 of the 15 markets. There's only two winners at the moment, and we are sitting on a critical level, having had killing fields, I think, this week on the E-mini. So we're going to get into all of that. We'll deal with the E-mini charts first, daily all the way down to the 15-minute, and then the 13,500 tip bar charts. A hell of a week with the volatility we had in the E-mini. And then we'll start on the Forex charts and do those. So here we go. As always, we're in an uptrend because the background is in grey on this left-hand side here on this chart that shows in terms of price and volume, we're in an uptrend. Better sine wave is showing us daily bars that are red, so it's an uptrend in terms of price, and we have had no blue professional bars to trail us up or break below a trailing stop on better pro-am here, so that's why the background is in red. So overall, big picture, yes, we are in an uptrend, but we have the potential this week of falling out of bed, and I'll show you the two critical levels that we got on the tip bar charts. So that's the story on the daily chart. We go down to the 15-minute chart, and same thing, background's in red, trailing stop is miles away, bars themselves are red in better sine wave, which is good. We've had a little pullback in an uptrend signal going, which is interesting. Better momentum, not all that good this week. Down here, negative 97, very close to pretty steep readings there, and that's not looking good with all of these higher highs being made in terms of price, but meta momentum was showing us lower highs here, bang bang bang, and this one barely, when we had those Rambo patterns, barely went over the zero line. So that was showing us that was amateur bars, low average trade size, low volume, pushing to new highs, and shows us that really weak momentum there. So the question is, are we going to go for an exhaustion sell pattern down here where we break out of this range? Now, the last reading that we had in terms of exhaustion patterns was pretty elevated. That was up at 137 or so. But this level here that we had previously, that was 82,000. So we've already exceeded that. So we're getting to these levels where that negative momentum is going to signal an exhaustion sell signal, I would have guessed. This week's going to be important. 45-minute chart, we have now gone into a dark area here. You can see the background's actually black because although we're above the trailing stop on better pro-am, we've got white bars on better sine wave, and we've got a sign of weakness happening at the moment. We had a little push to pull back to end of trend on the lowest time frame here on the 45-minute chart, and we've rolled over from those Rambo patterns, so it's really important. And we're breaking the lows, and we're caught here between supports on the low and the intermediate time frame. We've rolled over, we've overshot the highest time frame, and we put in trending moves here. Are we going to have a little bit of a bounce at this level here to have a final little support to resistance play out on the intermediate time frame? Or are we just going to crash through these and then get ourselves into a trending move on the way down on the 45-minute chart? Here on the 15-minute chart, you can see this week's activity, a little bit more detail. I think the tip bar chart is better at showing you this, but at the end of last week we were saying we were perilously close to breaking through this support level into a downtrend. We got that, we broke into a downtrend, better pro-am flips around, then we had some extraordinary activity. I'll show you that on the tip bar chart with the low and the high being made, and then we've sold off from there as we tested back up into this region. We're sitting under a sign of weakness up here at the moment. Background's in grey. We're in a downtrend on the 15-minute chart, confirmed in terms of price and volume. We've got an exhaustion sell signal down here, and that is the question. Is this going to hold these blue professional bars at these lows? We tested into there. Tip bar chart, I think, is more instructive, so let me show you this. So last week's activity, we had a sign of weakness, and then we broke back up to test, and then we did nothing until we broke into that downtrend, and this is the downtrend that we had. We had big pro bars on the 13,500 tip bar chart. What was that? Thursday into Friday's activity. Big pro bars this is not just professional bars, these are super high average trade size professionals, so this is extremely important. And exhaustion buy, and then we test back up, and we eventually break through that area where those blue professional bars were getting out. So they short it at that point, and then they come back in. We have exhaustion sell down here. Big pro bars step in, bang, and they push it up. We had that overnight activity which took us into these highs, and then we got short again. Big pro bars at that point tested back up to those highs, close to, and we roll over and head down. This is killing fields. So killing fields is when the professionals have not had enough time to get short, and so they hold it at some level, push it back up, and then use all of this activity from the low of that sequence around 61.10. All of this activity is getting short. They quickly get short here, but they're using all of this activity, any little strength here they're using to get short, and eventually we get confirmation when we break that level previously. And the important thing to note on the killing fields is the way the blue professional bars come into this sequence. If they were buying the lows, and saying, okay, that's it, we're going to defend this level, you'd have seen the blue professional bars come in at the lows. As we headed down into that activity, you'd have seen blue professional bars bang, 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 and then that level would be absolutely critical to defend next time we tested into it. But what you see instead is the blue professional bars coming in here, buying it up. So what they're doing is they're forcing the market up here, crashing into trailing stops that are set all the way down and forcing people to get out and reverse their positions, get wrong-footed at that point. So that's the important difference when you're looking at these blue professional bars. Did they happen on the way down, or did they happen to force the market up and keep us going through this pattern? And then you get to those highs. Sometimes you don't see these blue professional bars. Sometimes all you see is a whole bunch of just regular bars, no professional bars in that pattern. And you only get confirmation when we broke back through those lows that that was actually killing fields, that they were just using that whole activity to get short. So that's what I'm worried about. We've got a blue professional bar at the end of the week, not unusual, squaring off at the end of the week, professionals getting out. It's forced Better Pro-Am to trail the stop down here. Interestingly, this was a Rambo pattern at that point. We bounced off those. So amateurs getting short at that 61.10 area, temporarily getting wrong-footed. So we are sitting at absolutely critical levels here. You can see Better Pro-Am showing grey background. We're in a downtrend, but close to a trailing stop. And then we're sitting here with resistance on the low and the intermediate time frame come in, and we're playing that out at the moment. So we got two levels. We got 61.11 down here and 61.31 up here, so 20 points apart. If this is broken on the downside, we're going to go for a tumble. This is going to be nasty. That'll be below support on the highest time frame here. That'll potentially go to a pullback to end of trend move on the highest time frame here. So that'll be nasty. Generate another exhaustion sell signal down here. If we break back up through 31s and this blue professional bar was prescient at the end of the week, then this will flip around. We put in an exhaustion sell pattern here. We've tested with Rambo patterns here, and that area is held. We get above 31, and everything will turn around the background and be red and so on. So I'm in two minds, but when I look at all of the other markets heading down this week, they all had turns midweek, and we'll show you that on the tip bar charts, just one after another. We're in downtrends. A US dollar is heading up. Crude potentially is heading up. Bitcoin's kind of heading up. But crude heading up is potentially a sign that there's going to be problems in the Middle East, potentially. The run to safety is to the US dollar at the moment. The 10-year is heading down, had a really nasty week on the way down. So, I don't know, is the money going to flow into US equities, continue the strengthening of the US dollar this week, and this level holds, and equities is the right place to be? Don't know. That level's going to be key though. If we break through 61.11, watch out on the downside. So let's show you these tip bar charts and the turns that we had in all of these markets as usual. We're going to be looking at this top left-hand chart, which is the highest time frame using Better Pro-Am, and this is the activity on the Euro chart this week. So I'm in France at the moment. I've got to tell you, normally the French don't talk about politics at all. We go to dinner parties and hang out with people for coffee, and it's all light and airy, fun conversations. Not this year, and certainly not the last couple of months. Everybody is extremely worried about what's going on in France. Political uncertainty, the weakness of the euro. They're worried. I think that plays out in economic activity just in general, just starts to weaken. And with Trump's victory, the contrast between the direction the US is taking and the direction Europe is taking and the UK is taking has been really highlighted. The Europeans and the UK are obsessed with global warming and net zero, hate speech, stopping AI, stopping social media, blah, blah, blah. and the US seems to have turned a corner in a lot of those things and is going to be heading in a totally different direction. I think that has people in Europe a little bit concerned. So here's the euro chart. Last week we topped out. I said we had a whole bunch of blue professional bars coming in the previous week, and for each of these little turns, then finally we got some resolution. Blue professional, big pro bars into those highs, 106.5, and then big pro bars on this retrace, bang, and they pushed it down. We're in a downtrend, very volatile activity here, with these very wide swings in the euro. Exhaustion buy patterns here, no blue professional bars at the lows, backgrounds in grey. We're in a downtrend on the euro. British pound, same chart. Here we go, turn this week, topped out, big pro bars here on the retrace, big pro bars, little bit of strength at that point, and then as soon as they sell it down, bang through those support level at 27.2, and we're in a downtrend. Exhaustion sell down here, no blue professional bars, backgrounds in grey, so the British pound's heading down. Aussie dollar trying to hold. So had followed the euro in that pattern, jacked up here, big pro bars, and then they sell it down super hard. Came in here. I had a really nice trade here midweek, catching this little push. I got out at 64.09 just on a profit target there. That was a nice trade overnight to wake up to see that. And then it weakened. Blue professional bars come in, sell it down, bang, we're heading down. Yes, we've got Rambo patterns down here, but the exhaustion sell was getting the move going from these highs, accelerating there. So we've got to go see a matching pattern, I would have thought, with exhaustion sell on the downside. So if we break through 63.84, 63.5, here, let's wait and see if that happens on the Aussie dollar. And then Japanese yen, whoo, here we go. So last week we topped out. Big pro bars a little early, we creep up and up. Bearish divergence, flush pattern at the highs. Blue professional bars come in here, we break the lows of that sequence, bang, we're in a downtrend. Test back up with amateur bars, and we know that the low is not in because we haven't seen blue professional bars come in here, or here. So we keep on going down, they sell it down, exhaustion sell, breaking out of that congestion zone. And now, big pro bars coming at the highs with exhaustion buy, potentially holding that area. So that's going to be interesting. So if we do get weakness in equities, we get another little play on the yen carry trade, we would see strength in Japanese yen. So let's see if we get a turnaround this week in Japanese yen and it bounces from these levels down here. But at the moment, backgrounds in grey, we're in a downtrend on Japanese yen. So all of those currencies are heading down, so the USD is heading up. 10 years had a very nasty week this week. Not a whole bunch of blue professional bars at the highs at the end of last week, but there we get our change in trend, sign of weakness, we head down, come back up, exhaustion buy, but no blue professional bars at these lows down here, which is interesting. And then we just head down, backgrounds in grey. Big pro bars have started to come in though, here and here, with an exhaustion sell pattern. So again, run to safety, potentially money flowing into bonds. So let's see if bonds starts to hold at the beginning of the week and we get a little bit of a rally in bonds. Gold. Now, gold, I was short gold last week and I was unclear about that trade. Just didn't feel right. We had a close on the Friday that just didn't feel good at all on that gold trade. And the great thing about futures, this is why I love trading futures. You get it wrong, you just reverse and go the other way. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as we broke up through these levels, reversed on my gold trade and made a little bit of money. I made back the loss that I had and made a little bit of money. I had a profit target just sitting above here at 2,700. I should have moved it out because that was a gathering pattern. You can see all those blue professional bars at a previous high. So it's out of a congestion area here. It was just sitting above that congestion area. If it had been a bit lower, that would have been more of a classic gathering pattern here. But those are not taking profits at that point because they're just in a slight consolidation. Markets tend to top out with and bottom out with spikes. So we get a spike here, a spike here, a spike here. That's topping out activity. When it's just holding like that and there's not a little spike, that didn't feel like a top was being made. That was a gathering. Blue professional bars buying that breakout 2,700. Yep, bang, and it kept on going to 2,760. So there's much more in it, but I was just lucky, glad to be out of that losing trade and made it back. So this turned as well this week. You can see the uptrend, background in red, turns into background in grey. We've topped out. Wasn't exhaustion buy up here, wasn't bearish divergence, But big pro bars coming in here anxiously getting out, and then the lows of that get broken. We're in a downtrend. No blue professional bars as yet. No exhaustion sell. So we're still in the downtrend in gold. Silver, same thing. Here we go into those highs, changes into a downtrend. Exhaustion sell getting the move going. Really fast move from 33s, which is quite a nice level up there, down to 31s, but no blue professional bars coming at these highs. So that is not good for precious metals. However, Bitcoin seemingly is doing well, and this weekend we're up at 102, which is good. Backgrounds in red. So Bitcoin's doing okay, and that's the first of the good news. And the other one is crude. Crude this week really kind of got going. Bottomed at 67, we're up at 71 and a bit. Yes, big pro bars come in here. We've gone past that. But I'm going to show you the daily chart on crude, because something's going to happen in crude. In crude, we've been sitting around this really tight range all year. You can see here the beginning of the year 24, down here at 64s maybe. We made it up to just over 80 for a fraction of the time, and then we've just been holding and holding in a pretty tight range, 65, 66 to 70, 71 here for a while. And we've got big pro bars coming in here at the lows. They got excited buying that breakout there, so seemingly that level at 65 has held. And you can see here we've got this little wedging pattern going on at the moment, and I wonder if that level is going to break out on crude. And crude this week was strong all week, and I think a lot of that is driven by Middle East politics. We've been weak after Trump's election because of drill baby drill. I wonder if that is showing us something. Crude is wound up, ready for a break, and I wonder if that's going to be a really good trade over the next several weeks. So wait and see on that. Natural gas pumped this week and then ended its rally. Exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, and then we're back down to 320. Did we have signals? It was very active this week. Certainly you can see the amount of activity down here. I suppose, yeah, exhaustion sell, Rambo bands, big pro bars. Yeah, we got the gap. That's right, on the Sunday night. We got that gap up and then it closed the gap. There's the big pro bars coming in. I mean, they were basically buying that breakout. This would have been the overnight activity, Sunday night into Monday, and then closed the gap down here with Rambo patterns, and the amateurs got wrong-footed. We went the other way. Classic Rambo to Rambo channel. So they go short at this point here. They get caught out and they have to reverse or be stopped out as we're breaking up through those highs. And that's where we see another bunch of Rambo patterns at the other side of that channel. But it's weakening from now, although we've got blue professional bars coming at the end of the week. So we'll see natural gas, potentially the energy sector, starts to spike this week. So last one's copper. Down here in a downtrend, sign of weakness, selling it down at that point. Bit junky this whole week, but it's in a downtrend. Then we have the ags. The ags had a really nice run, middle of last week to the middle of this week, but then big pro bars into those highs. We've rolled over, tested back up, big pro bars 448, and we've rolled over in a downtrend on corn. Soybeans we are going nowhere, but all I can say is the energy is winding up and up and up on soybeans. Eventually we will break out of this in some direction. Seemingly at the moment we're in a downtrend on soybeans, but we're wound up tight, so let's see wherever that eventually breaks. And lastly, wheat. Here we go. Bit of a uptrend turned into a downtrend, backgrounds in grey. We're going to look at 540 again on this move down. So there we go. All I can say, just look at these two levels, 61.31 and 61.11 for the E-mini. I think that's going to show us the way, and I'm really interested to see what happens with crude this week. That could be a nice little trade to go long crude. Anyway, hope your trading's going well. Looking forward to next week's trade.